What's poppin', everyone? Welcome back to the channel. Zach Lesage here. You might see me in my brand new setup. Yep, I've officially moved over to Montreal. Really loving it here, but that's not what this video is about. Today's video is going to be about Raging Bolt EX. In our Twilight Masquerade format, deck is kind of popped off at NAIC online tournaments. So what this video is going to show you is my most up-to-date list, strategy, gameplay, and more. So stay tuned for all that. Hit this video a like, and let's check out this list. Raging Bolt EX is all about getting those huge KOs with Bellowing Thunder. So we want to load up energies in play, and we have a few ways to do that. We can manually attach our energies, but we're going to get those energies in play with Professor Sada's Vitality, and of course Teal Mask Ogrepon. You're going to be drawing a bunch of cards with both of those cards, and that's going to allow you to kind of churn through your deck. We have a few other Gust-based cards to kind of really bring up whatever Pokemon we want. It's kind of our kind of faux disruptive kind of part of the deck, where we're using Pokemon Catcher to bring up a Pokemon your opponent didn't want to bring up. If we get heads, of course. With 3, we're hoping for at least 1 heads per game if possible. With Prime Catcher, Boss's Orders, Pal Pad, we can get those cards with Pokestop as well. So if we're not attacking with Bellowing Thunder, we could attack with Teal Mask Ogrepon EX. If we have 3 Grass Energies, it might be useful against the Charizard deck. You could attack with Squawkabilly in this deck to attach some energies, and you could even attack with Sandy Shocks to do 90 damage if you have the right energy requirements in play. A lot of the cards in this deck are just trying to get it to work, and we're just trying to Bellowing Thunder, Bellowing Thunder, Bellowing Thunder. So if that sounds like a good plan for you, and it's been working really well for a lot of players, this is a super aggressive deck, and you can allow you to outspeed your opponent, check out the list available in the description. Copy and paste it right into PTCG Live. And of course, if you need any of the cards for this deck, check out our Shuffle Squad website, Kayfabe Cards, and PTCGL store, again with discounts available in the description. Let's jump into some gameplay with this deck. We're waiting for our opponent to call the coin flip. And it's one of those things where we just gotta kind of we want to go second here. It's one of those things we want to go second with this deck. So they won the coin flip. Hopefully they decide to go first. And the reason why we want to go second is so we can attack on our first turn. So if we get the Sadas, we get everything, all those, we could accelerate energies and really make it happen. This is looking like a interesting hand. I think in this case, I'd probably rather start with Sandy Shock because there's a higher chance that I might be able to attack with it. Let's go ahead and start with it. We'll have to see how it plays out. Our opponent's playing Regieleki. Maybe it's a Miraidon deck. Might be a little bit more stronger than whatever our opponent has going on here. A lot of players are experimenting with some new stuff as the new 2024 season is out there. I mean, we might not necessarily see all the same cookie cutter lists, or maybe we're going to see more of it, but it doesn't look like they're having the greatest start so far. Okay, they got Hero's Cape. That shouldn't be an issue for us when it comes down to it. They also gave us the Pokestop, which is something that we might want to do as well. I think the way that we're going to formulate this hand is we're going to start off by putting down Radiant Greninja because I want to use concealed cards. We're trying to thin the deck of non-trainer cards. We have a chance of getting into those trainer cards with Pokestop. Now we already have Ultra Ball available. Ultra Ball is really going to allow us to get out those extra pieces that we might want, like Squawkabilly if we really need to, but I think this is really a turn that I'd rather try to get to a Raging Bolt X in play. So instead of grabbing something with Ultra Ball, since it's unknown, we're trying to go for a Pokestop here, and we're going to see what we can rip off the stop. Nothing really great for us here. We can't really get all those energies that we wanted in play, but I think what we're going to go for is going Ultra Ball, discarding a Professor Sada's and a Grass Energy. And we're going to go ahead and grab out a Raging Bolt. Now, this is where things get a little bit tricky because I half want to go for a Squawkabilly, and I half don't. But let's just go for some energies in play so we can get Professor Sada's. The reason why we discard the other grass is so we can attach both. It doesn't really matter which way we kind of go with these energies. I see we have the Teal Mask Ogrepon. I think what I'm going to do is go Super Rod back in. We're going to go Nest Ball, searching our deck for a Squawkabilly so we can get rid of that. And we're going to go Pal Pad, putting these 2 back into our deck. Now, at this point, I think it's best for us to Squawkabillies here to try to draw into a fighting energy, some other cards that we could maybe get out there. We have the Teal Mask Ogrepon, so we're going to go ahead and pop down an energy. And we didn't really get to our first attack, and that's completely fine. We're just going to pass our turn. We could easily get to the Pokemon such as the Regieleki EV, just knocking them out, doing extra damage. So I'm not worried that we didn't get some chip damage with Magnetic Burst. To be quite honest, this is not our best start that we've ever had with this deck, but it gives you like a little bit more of a gameplay, because like, I'll be real, if we're going with Bellowing Thunder turn 1, your opponent quite often is going to so I'm totally okay with the way that we have going. And if our opponent's just gonna go Switching Bolt into a 2 prize card Pokemon, or even Judge, like our hand was not that great. Hopefully we'll draw into some energies that we could maybe pitch away. Maybe we get something with Pokestop. Like, we're really trying to discard energies, get some of those trainers discarded. So I'm really hoping that it plays out there. Things like Prime Catcher allow us to knock out maybe this Arceus V, maybe a Regieleki V. We have a few opportunities to cross. I don't even know what we had there, so that was interesting. There's an Electric Generator, that's also fine. So as long as our opponent's not knocking out a 2 prize card Pokemon, I'm completely. And I think that's one of the reasons why we have Sandy Shocks just chilling in the active, is that if they have to knock something out, they can knock out that Sandy Shocks, and that Sandy Shocks is only worth 1 prize card, so it's going to offset the prize trade a little bit. They didn't get a knockout on it, which is just fine. They have to set up another 2 prize card Pokemon. Let's see what we're going to kind of deal with this turn. We have the Grass Energy, so what we want to do, we could draw more cards, and I mean, we did go through quite a few energy retrievals. I think what I want to do is, first and foremost, is use Radiant Greninja, pitch away a Grass Energy, because at least I could use Professor Zeta's Vitality with it, which could potentially get us more cards. There's that Earthen Vessel that we're looking at. We still want to have other energies. So before doing anything else, I am going to go Pokestop to try to discard some of my energy. That's actually quite fun, because what we could do here is we have the Earthen Vessel something. And I think Earthen Vesseling away a boss's orders is completely fine, because our opponent's only playing 2 prize card Pokemon. This is really a deck where we do not care what we have in the active spot. We are going to go for a lightning and a fighting type energy. And the other thing that I'm going to do now is with the Earthen Vessel, pitch away a lightning energy, because we want to get those energies under discard pile for Professor Zeta's. We're going to go for a Grass Energy and probably another Grass Energy. Just so we could use double Teal Mask. I'd like to have 2 Raging Bolts out, but we do have to have your ideal board say would be having 2 Raging Bolts, 2 Teal Mask Ogrepons, and then 2 others, whether it's a Teal Mask, a Raging Bolt, Radiant Greninja, Squawk, Sandy Shocks. It just, unfortunately, we had to start with Sandy Shocks, and we had to put Radiant Greninja down, and we had to put Squawkabilly down. Typically, I like using Teal Mask Ogrepon first. So let's go ahead and use Field Dance. We're going to draw a card. See if there's anything that's worthwhile for us. We have another Teal Dance that we could do for free. We're just trying to load up energies in play. One thing to note about Magnetic Burst is we're also just not doing extra damage for anything. Like, you could do Power Gem, but Power Gem's only doing 20. So I think what our best bet here is eventually switch. And I want to go ahead and go Professor Zeta's Vitality. Again, we want to put the lightning energy on this Pokemon. We're just going to get the Grass Energy because we're just going to discard it anyways. Here's our fighting energy necessary. And we could use Prime Catcher or Switch. I'm actually totally fine just using Switch into Raging Bolts. That to me sounds fine. So let's go Switch Cart, put that there. I don't want to do anything else because we've already done everything else we want. And this is where the deck gets pretty strategic. We want to discard or energy. So while we didn't get our turn 1 attack off, we did get our turn 2 attack off. And that's completely fine. So let's discard energies that we don't think we need. We do it in 70s, so let's discard that. Let's discard these two because we don't need them on that Pokemon. I'd like to have the Raging Bolt with the energies up active. And I think what I'm going to do is I'm just going to rip off this Teal Mask. So what I've done here effectively, I have a Raging Bolt that's ready to go. I'm hoping that our opponent does not get a knockout on it. And if they do, whatever, we'll figure it out. A lot of their Pokemon might have energies that they have to attack with, such as something like a Raikou V. They do somehow get the knockout. Teal Mask Ogrepon does 30 plus 30 for each energy attached to both active Pokemon. So we've kind of set ourselves up with a backup attacker for having the Teal Mask Ogrepon, just because we haven't got out 2 Raging Bolts this game. We have to discard cards until we have 5 in hands. I think what I'm going to discard is, I definitely want a Nest Ball to get out a Raging Bolts. I probably want Pokegear. I probably don't care about Iono. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 cards left. I'd like to have the energy. I think what I'm going to do is discard an Earthen Vessel. Maybe I'll just discard the energy because I can get it back anyways. With Professor Sada's Vitality, we could try to draw through our deck, try to increase our chance of getting there. We're only 19 cards left and we have a few of the Professor Sada's Vitality. Very interesting disruptive build of kind of a lightning. I also hate to shamelessly plug, I love the that we have set up for everything. As I'm showing that, I love how my camera totally goes. That's so funny. To me, it's not funny, but it's kind of funny. We will fix this. There we go. Still getting used to my new setup, everyone. So hopefully we just get it all perfect, but love to see. So there's a Regieleki. I mean, I think they're not able to get the knockout, and you can see that we could easily scale up damage to on, kind of hilarious with Raging Bolt. So being able to kind of explode onto your opponent with Bellowing Thunder, being able to be like, oh, 300's nothing. If you're a Charizard with a Hero's Cape, that's nothing. We should be pretty good to get there. So there's their 30 Switching Bolts. They're running out of opportunities because they're not scaling their knockouts with us. And I mean, if there's a Pokemon we really want to knock out here, like I don't want to knock out Miraidon. I think what would be best is to maybe knock out Raikou because it's only worth 3 energies. So in the way that I want to go about this turn is I think I want to start off with Earthen Vessel, discarding an Earthen Vessel here. I don't need the other cards. Let's go ahead and grab a Grass, and I'm probably just gonna end up grabbing a type energy, so we could go ahead and go Teal Dance. Let's start off by using Teal Dance. See what we can do. We're trying to thin cards out of our deck so we can get to a Professor Sada's Vitality. I am gonna go for a Concealed Cards, pitching this, and we got an Energy Retrieval. So let's go ahead and go Energy Retrieval. Let's go ahead and grab back Grass and Fighting, sure. So the reason why we're grabbing Grass is because we're able to use Teal Mask. So let's use Teal Mask Ogrepon to use Teal Dance. We're thinning through our deck even more. We're getting close to the Professor Sada's Vitality. We could use Pokestop, but there's a fairly good chance that we hit it. So let's go ahead and use Pokegear. And you can see that we have a decent chance of hitting the deck. Let's go Professor Sada's Vitality. Let's load up some energies onto our Pokemon. And at this point, I'm fine because we're just going to discard the Grass energy. Doesn't really matter. Now that we've gone through our turn and we've drawn all our cards, we've that information, let's go ahead and try for our Pokemon catch. It is a coin flip card, but if we cannot get that Raikou V with an energy, it'd be huge. But it doesn't necessarily matter, right? Like, we're still able to knock out the active Pokemon. We still have quite a few of everything else. So I'm pretty much big chillin'. I don't really care about anything else that we have here. So let's go ahead and go for Bellowing Thunder. The energies that I want to discard are probably going to be this energy, this energy, this energy. And then sometimes so we have our Teal Mask and we have this powered up. there's a very good chance that Raging Bolt gets knocked out here. And if it doesn't, then we just win. Since we have fighting energy in our hand, I am going to go ahead and pitch away our fighting patch there. So in anticipation that we're about to get knocked out, our Raging Bolt is shedding some of its energies, but in case our opponent decides to use something like a boss's orders to get around that, we do have this Teal Mask Ogrepon with 3, and we do have this with 1. So we have both options ready to attack. And I think that's really where like this deck is, it's aggressive, but you do have to have some kind of foresight when it comes down to it. And that's really what's going to help us out. So we're waiting for our opponent. Looks like they're going to go for their Lightning Rondo. They'll draw their 2 prize cards, and we should be able to hit the right amount of numbers with Myriad Leaf Power. So right now we're doing 30 plus 30, so we're doing 120. They'd be doing 180. We'd have to attach a singular energy to our Teal Mask Ogrepon to win the game. I think we have a few ways to win the game before that. We'll have to see how it plays out for us. But right now it's working pretty well, if you ask me. There's their switch. Maybe they're just like having a real struggle game where they're just able to use switching bolts. It looks like they've kind of drawn into a rough hand where they only have 1 card where they're able to play that out. There's their switching bolt. At this point, we could slap on the fighting energy with Raging Bolt. Our opponent did not knock us out, and we're just going to be able to knock out our opponent for only 3 energy. Let's go ahead and slap this energy down. We don't need to play anything else. Sometimes you don't want to overplay, accidentally deck yourself out, play things in the wrong order. 1, 2, 3. They only have 200 HP, no resistance. Boom, there's a 210 damage, and our Raging Bolt is able to absolutely just dominate this game. This game was not necessarily the most back and forth, but sometimes when you're just knocking your opponent out, they cannot respond. And that's what we got going on with Raging Bolt today. Enjoyed learning a little bit more about this deck, seeing how it plays out, and maybe you'll get a chance to try it out. I don't think the gameplay that we had was it wasn't like the most exciting game of Pokemon ever. And I don't think that's always what we're going to get. And that's why I like to try to show the good, the bad, the ugly. I could have very well dead drawn and shown a different game where whatever, but in this case, we were able to knock out all of our opponent's Pokemon. We're able to get set up, and we played our way out of a pretty rough start. Sometimes you're going to discard some hand. And it's one of those things where maybe your opponent doesn't get a chance to come back. Maybe they do, but that's the cool thing about Pokemon. If you're looking for anything at all when it comes to supporting the squad, check out our description. Maybe pick up an Ultimate Guard deck box or pick up some advanced G stuff. Got all those descriptions there, all of those discount codes, all of those websites and sponsors that support us. I absolutely love the products here, and I would not put my name on it I didn't like. I drink this every day, breakfast, kind of midday, finish moving, really helped me get through there. So I think this is the real deal. If you're not an adult or if you're under the age of 18, definitely check out with your parents. Not entirely sure what it is, but as an adult in their 30s, I think that this is fantastic getting me through the days because I'm getting old, y'all. For me, I just finished moving, so hopefully y'all like the new setup. I mean, the way that it blocks the chair, I'll just kind of move over out of the way so you can kind of see. Starting to build up my little corner, and it looks a lot smaller than what it is. This room is much bigger than my other office, so we have a bit of a better as I continuously add stuff in here. Maybe I'll get some cool local posters from some game stores, things that just didn't necessarily travel well in my move. I plan on kind of wall over there and this kind of wall here, decorated Pokemon. If you have any comments, suggestions, concerns, whatever, let me know in the comments. I'm 100% back, and I'm really excited to kind of crush forward with some more content, not only at the Shuffle Squad, but in a few other places. Stay tuned for all that. Thank you so much for watching. Peace out and have a great day. You made it to the end. Thank you so much for watching this entire video from the Shuffle Squad. Honestly, from the bottom of our hearts, we appreciate each and every person that supports our content, watches what we have going on every single day, every single week, even from time to time, and continuously allows us to have a forum to project our creative content towards the Pokemon TCG community. So if you haven't already, be sure to give this video a like, subscribe to the channel, and even leave a comment to help boost the YouTube algorithm. That being said, we'll catch you with our next video. Thanks again. Take it easy.